Welcome into OutKick the show. I'm your fearless leader, Clay Travis. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us. We are taping early today because I got to travel. Just FYI, if there's crazy news that's come down, it is 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So if anything else is happening after that, I'm only reacting to things that have happened since early in the morning. PrizePicks, best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in under a minute. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Got picks for you right now. Thursday night football. This one starts tonight or tomorrow. Jaden Daniels, more than 226.5 passing yards. George Pickens, more than 66.5 receiving yards for the Steelers. Russell Wilson, more than 226.5 passing yards. I've actually got 5 of them for you today. Saquon, more than 1/2 of a TD. That's Thursday night football. And another Thursday night football for you. Jalen Hurts, more than 1/2 rushing TDs. Now, that is 5 picks, if I'm counting correctly. That pays out at 20-1. So, again, big payday if we can hit. You can sign up today. Use code OutKick. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive your $50 bonus. Guaranteed. Code OutKick. $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. And we are running our game here on Wednesday morning to get ready for the travel. I'll be back, by the way, on Monday with college football reaction. We just finished recording a college football and NFL gambling preview show with Kelly Stewart. All that still to come your way later in the day. But several different things that I wanted to hit. College football playoff rankings came out last night. A lot of debate out there. Here is what I would say in general. We are going to have a real challenge going forward about, are we going to put in the best or the most deserving teams? Because I think, for instance, you're going to end up with Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, and Ole Miss, for instance, all right around 10-2. You may end up with Texas there too, maybe Texas A&M. I am quite certain that all of those teams on a neutral site, for instance, would beat BYU. And I think they would beat Indiana. And I think they would beat Miami. How these teams are ranked is going to tell you a lot. Are the 4 of the 5 best teams right now in the Big Ten? I mean, this is crazy talk, right? The idea, who's Penn State beaten all year? Who is Indiana beaten all year? Again, to be frank, who is Ohio State beaten all year? Oregon has a really good win. Ohio State beat Penn State. I was there. But really, what strong metrics elsewhere are out there to tell you that 4 of the 5 best teams in America are in the Big Ten and that none of the other teams are in the top 25? I think this is crazy talk. I think the committee's doing a poor job so far. I said, for instance, if Ohio State beats Indiana next week, the real debate is going to start 10-2 SEC. For instance, Georgia, with a brutal schedule. If they're 10-2, how do we assess that? That, to me, is a really intriguing debate that is going to get ratcheted up in earnest going forward. So pay attention to that. College football playoff rankings out. It may well solve itself, right? Like, for instance, you could end up with a situation where Texas loses to Arkansas. You could have Kansas going on the road and beating BYU. You could have Tennessee beat Georgia. That could take care of a lot of things in terms of the overall landscape. But right now, I think those rankings are a mess. Trump is back right now in D.C. Again, I'm reacting. He has not He's not had a public statement since, but he's landed in D.C. Probably will be some stories from that. We'll be talking about that live on Clay and Buck in a few hours from now. I want to thank all of you. October was the greatest month in OutKick history. That is thanks to you guys. And we are seeing, I was going to contrast this, reports out there that hundreds of CNN layoffs are coming. MSNBC overall ratings have collapsed. Same thing for CNN. What is the consequence here? One, we're in a very rapidly evolving media environment, and many of you are choosing to trust us on a daily basis, to trust me. That means a lot. Over time, I think we have built a lot of trust with many of you. CNN layoffs, hundreds of them are coming, according to Dylan Byers. If he's right, lots of pay cuts coming as well. What this also indicates is in 2016, when Trump won, CNN ratings actually skyrocketed. MSNBC ratings actually skyrocketed too. What you're seeing with the Trump victory this time is Fox News ratings are up a lot, but everybody else at CNN and MSNBC is tanking. Why is that? I think it's because CNN and MSNBC's audience is over the Trump resistance. They feel like they were lied to in some way when they were told, first of all, that Joe Biden was fit as a fiddle behind closed doors. Second, that Kamala Harris had run some sort of flawless presidential campaign and was going to win. Not only did she lose, she lost the overall popular vote as the vote continues to come in from California, where, as I speak to all of you, around this morning when I sat down to do these shows, only 79% of the vote was in from California. That is frankly unacceptable, indefensible overall. So I think what you're seeing is a great sorting. You guys are spending your time more and more with OutKick, with our digital shows, with the web, on YouTube, on social media, on TikTok. We have places, things going viral all the time, millions of people watching it. So I appreciate all of you. And I do think that ties in there. One reason why OutKick is growing, and I'll probably spend more time on the CNN, MSNBC decline, also New York Times, Washington Post, what that tells us about media. But one reason why OutKick is growing is because we have a crazy idea. Men shouldn't be able to win women's championships while pretending to be women. Congressman Seth Moulton of Massachusetts, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong on that, Adam, came out and said he has 2 daughters and he doesn't want them competing against men. And the left in this country has lost its mind over that comment, even though 80% probably, at least, of sports fans agree with it. One reason why OutKick is skyrocketing is much of our talent, including Riley Gaines in particular, has a crazy, audacious, ridiculous idea. It is that men should be competing against women. Never. That men should be competing against men and women should be competing against women. And that's why we have 2 different classifications for sports overall, because men would win every women's championship if there were a unisex division. This is crazy. This is bonkers that even Democrats admitting it, you may have seen the clip that went viral of CNN recently, even Democrats admitting that is considered grounds for them to be attacked. It is absolutely bonkers, in my opinion, that we could have ever created this sort of situation. A couple of other stories that are out there that are worth breaking down. Don Lemon has announced that he is leaving Twitter. Bye. See ya. Look, Don Lemon is a great example of a guy that never actually built an audience. He was on CNN when broadcast networks mattered. People would occasionally watch him. They did not follow him when he left. He tried to do his own show on Twitter and YouTube. By and large, nobody is consuming that, the only place that it's distributed. And now he said that he's going to leave Twitter. Guardian has said that they are going to do the same thing. That is a left-wing newspaper in England. They're not going to find an audience anywhere else. And so they're basically signing on intentionally for their own irrelevance going forward. I just flat out don't understand what they think is going to happen in a favorable way in any respect for them. But that video is up. Don Lemon has officially announced he's leaving Twitter. Flip side, Pete Hegseth. Some of you watched on Fox Nation 4 hours plus of me, Tommy Lahren, Morgan Ortagus, hosted by Pete Hegseth. I didn't know that he was going to end up defense secretary at that time. Awesome dude. I've gotten to know him. We did a VP reaction show. I've been on Fox and Friends a lot with him on the weekend over the years. I think it's a very good choice by Donald Trump, continuing a series of outright phenomenal choices that have been made by Trump in his cabinet. Reports that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are going to team up and try to eliminate government inefficiency. Of course, Elon memorably fired like 75% of the employees at Twitter, and the company has been running at the same level of efficiency even without all of those employees. I think we could probably fire 75% of all federal employees, and there would be no decline in the overall quality of our government. Yours and mine's tax dollars are being immensely wasted in the government with lots of inefficiency, so I welcome that. I welcome Pete Hegseth as defense secretary. I think that is going to make a big difference going forward to the overall efficiency of the United States government. I mentioned that we had just done the fade, and we are taping this early. I've been awful in college football and NFL bets. I got everything right about the election. I got everything wrong so far in my college football and NFL bets. NFL is mediocre. College football has been awful. But my analysis here of the picks coming in for the weekend is as follows. By the way, what Congressman Seth Moulton said, just to reinforce there why I think OutKick has grown, I have two little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete. But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that. By the way, that's common sense. After all of the backlash, he then followed up on it and said, the backlash to my comments proves my point because this isn't just about trans kids. I use that as an example of a much larger issue that we have in our party where we can't have discussions about contentious issues that resonate with a lot of voters. And frankly, that's why we lost this election. I agree with him. One reason they lost the election is because Democrats have succumbed to the woke virus and they won't allow any actual discussion inside of their party. You're considered a heretic if you are willing to question any Democrat orthodoxy at all. I think that is a sign of their party's ineptitude and all of the challenges that they have going forward there. Back on the front, again, I will be with Big Noon this weekend down in Athens, Georgia for Tennessee, Georgia. And I like Tennessee. I think Nico is going to play. Again, that is my opinion at 10:45 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday. This will be up to a game time decision. No one will know for certain until Saturday night. But I think Nico is going to play. I think the under, if you want my blood bank guarantee, I love the under in the Tennessee-Georgia game. I think Nico is going to play. I like Tennessee to cover. I also like South Carolina to blow out Mizzou. I think South Carolina is playing like a top 10 caliber team. I like Kansas on the road against BYU. I like Florida plus the points and the over against LSU in Gainesville. Northwestern plus the points against Ohio State. And I'm giving my faith to the Razorbacks out there, plus 13.5 in this game against Texas and the over 56.5. My picks are up early this week because I have to travel, and that's why we're taping the Wednesday edition of this program. In the NFL, I like the Packers, Dolphins, Ravens all to cover against the number. I like the 49ers as well, Texans, and Chargers. Those are my NFL OutKick six-pack. I love the Bills against the Chiefs, and I think they're going to win by double digits. Okay, in addition to this program, I also am about to do Piers Morgan's show. That will be up, I believe, on YouTube soon. So I am going to leave all of you. I will be live with Clay and Buck. No shows Thursday and Friday. I'm going to be taking a couple of days off, working behind the scenes, traveling around. I'll be back on Saturday for Big Noon, back with the OutKick show and Clay and Buck on Monday. Then I got to travel out to LA for more meetings. Lots of good things going on. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for making October the greatest month in the history of OutKick across platforms. We are growing so much. That is because of all of you. I love you. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. The fade will be up soon. This has been OutKick the show. One more time, PrizePicks code OutKick. I'm on Jaden Daniels, more passing yards. Jalen Hurts, that's Thursday, tomorrow, more than a half rushing touchdowns. George Pickens, more than 66.5 receiving yards. Russell Wilson, more than 226.5 passing yards. And Saquon Barkley, more than 1/2 touchdowns rushing or receiving. If we hit on that, 20-1, prizepicks.com. Code OutKick. I love all of you. DBAP unless you need to SBAP. Thanks for making October so spectacular. November on track to be even better. I'll see you on Piers Morgan. I'll see you on the fade. And I'll see you for 3 hours on Clay and Buck here soon. This has been OutKick, the show. DBAP unless you need to SBAP.